and it's really one of the most trending technology nowadays. And really vote of thanks to Fultuli Guha ma'am and Anonna Kanjilal ma'am. It's thank you, ma'am, because it's all for your support that we are able to conduct this particular webinar. I'll request Fultuli ma'am if you could start with the initial note, and I'll also request Anonna Kanjilal ma'am to say a few words if she could. Fultuli ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, eminent speakers, and good afternoon, dear students. So we are actually very fortunate to have this kind of session organized by Ardent, and it has been planned 2 weeks beforehand, but due to some problem, we were not able to conduct the session. And today we are doing that session, and this topic, as sir has already mentioned, is very relevant and very upcoming topics. And as the industry personnel are conducting those sessions, so those topics would be the students, I think, will get a very intense and deep knowledge about the topic, that is the Flutter thing, that it is very much upcoming and it is very useful. And the thing is that these kind of topics, we have some reservations in syllabus, because we in the syllabus we cannot include this kind of trending topics, and which, you know, the actual market demand or the work in the market is actually done on these emerging trends, which can only be taught by people. It is actually useful if it is taught by people who are actually working on those applications, on those ideas. And so I think today's session will be very informative, and the students will get to know a lot of things, a lot of new things, and they will have a better idea of how the industry is working nowadays, because very soon they will be a part of the industry. And so if they have a very good idea about what is going around, they will have a better idea about what to do and what to expect when they go and be a part of the industry. So again, I would like to request our HOD ma'am, Dr. Anonna Kanjilal, to say a few words, and then we can start the session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fultuli. Thank you, speakers, and thank you everyone from Ardent who has been collaborating with us. In fact, I won't take up more than a couple of minutes. As a context, I would like to mention that we have partnered with Ardent for the last 3 years. And under that umbrella, actually, they have been conducting a lot of activities. So this is another activity of that kind, a partnership activity, I would like to call. And let us move forward with the session. Just one note to all the students: please feel free to ask questions. Please put your questions in the chat box. I believe it will be taken up in due course of time. And unless and until you ask questions, the clarifications will never come. So please feel free to interact and ask questions and make this session a meaningful one. Okay, thanks. And over to Rajesh, sir.
Thank you, respected HOD ma'am, Anonna ma'am, and thank you, Fultuli Guha ma'am, for your introductory speeches. So today, now, without wasting any more time, I hope it's will be relevant to go directly into today's webinar. And I'm proud to say that we are making this particular webinar live in YouTube.
Okay. So can you send me the link also, so that I can forward it to the group, to those who want to watch the session live, they can see it.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just posting it.
One more thing, one of the students have written that they are not able to see anything. Is it something? It is not started
yet, right? Hasn't started. Okay. It's just the introductory speech.
Okay.
So I'd like to request Pallavi ma'am. Pallavi ma'am, are you here?
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, ma'am. You can share your screen and start today's.
Is my screen visible to everyone? Please.
Yes, it is visible. It is visible, ma'am. You
Okay.
can start.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be the presenter of this sessions of this beautiful sessions on hybrid application development using Flutter. Myself, Pallavi Shaha, is associated with Ardent Computing Private Limited, and it's an honor for me to be a part of Ardent Computing Private Limited and also be a co-host for the session. Thank you. Let me start with this session. So what I'm going to cover in this next 1 hour, just in brief, I'm just noting it down. The points that I'm be covering in this session is that, first of all, every one of us almost know what's an hybrid application development is, or it's a trending topic in nowadays. So what's the popularity behind this hybrid application development that I'm going to cover? And then directly I will introduce with you people all the different kinds of framework that hybrid application development providing us. There's a popular frameworks between all the development, where all the hybrid application development frameworks. The two are most popular and are ongoing in a comparison between the industry and among the student levels also. So that's why I'll show some comparison between the popular hybrid development frameworks. And then finally, I'm going to introduce with you people Flutter in details. And of course, there will be a code, demo code, and a live programming session where I'll show you how we can code a program for a Flutter. So without wasting any time, let's start with the session. First of all, as I said that, first of all, I'm going to point out some of the things like the popularity behind application development domain. We, the software engineers, the software ITNs, computer science students, the professionals, who are into the development, who have knack for the development. First of all, we actually find out which domain do we want to belong. So if you people are interested in mobile application domain, then most of the people nowadays are getting a trend in coming into or learning hybrid application development. The reason is very simple, and the reason is as follows. First of all, we think about the economic. The economic propositions are the main factor which is actually bringing this technology of hybrid application development frameworks. Then the most common thing is the maintenance factor. Sometimes we develop different sort of application, but maintaining that app in for a long term, it's really a time consuming as well as a cost effective manner. But in case of hybrid application development, it's becoming easy for maintaining the application via different sources, via different scenarios. Then, of course, the UI adaptability. There are different kinds of UI available for developing hybrid applications like Flutter, and all other the hybrid apps have a stack of those UI designing views and the visits. Those definitely I'll be coming out to those things also. So UI adaptability is very, very important in case of hybrid application, because native are dominating the world, the entire world by is Android as well as iOS, as well as if we talk about the web apps. But hybrid apps in current scenario is finding its own space to introduce itself and to get into the fact. So those things, so UI adaptability is really very essential for us to be taken care of. And then the high definitions graphics. We are into an HD worlds. Each and everyone's are into graphics, animations. We like to have graphics, animations in almost all the things we do. So hybrid application is also that popular domain where we are finding the HD graphics are getting introduced with ease in the mode of coding. And of course, updating any hybrid apps is without without any effort. We can easily update any hybrid application easily. So in these are the some of the topics, some of the points that's really making us or finding us the solution for getting us the popularity behind hybrid application development. Let's see what are the framework which are giving us such a scope in developing the applications. So with the next slide, I'm going to introduce you with the platforms that are, or with the frameworks that are helping us to develop such an applications. The most common and top cross-platform applications framework are as follows. As you can find out over here that here this course, this training, this workshop is on Flutter, but except Flutter, there are many other cross-platform frameworks which are available in the market and also popular in the market. Among them, some of Xamarin, Ionic, Cordova, PhoneGap, Native, React Native, Native Code, Accelerator, and much more. All of the things couldn't be placed in a single slide or in a single platform, but definitely the one which I pointed in this pictorial form are the most popular one and is helping us to develop different kinds of hybrid applications. So among this different kinds of cross-platform hybrid applications, the advantages and disadvantages of all the frameworks definitely there. And so the two most common and two most important cross-platform frameworks that makes us that makes a developer to think which to choose and which to leave. That is none other than React Native and Flutter. Flutter and React Native are from the two main creators of this social media, that is Google and Facebook. So React Native is a framework that is from Facebook, as we all know, and Facebook is popular in the world of social media. And of course, for surfing into a net, into this world wide web, we cannot think of any other site other than Google. So Google is the creator of none other than Flutter. This tool was initially developed in the year of 2015 in case of React Native, and in case of Flutter, it was in 2017. Though there is a difference of its initial release, but we will find that Flutter is keeping behind React Native and is a long run into the market. It's running into the market. It's an uplifting framework, and most of the developers, most of the programmers are liking or putting their interest on Flutter application over the React Native and many other cross-platform applications. The reason is not because of the programming language, that is Dart or JavaScript, that was popular in the market for such a long period, but the reason is about its documentation, about its availability. So in the past year, we come across a statistics between Flutter and React Native, and we find that in all across the popular social domain of programming, we find Flutter stands the first. From the Stack Overflow, from the GitHub, or a query that has been received by Google, in all the we find that apart from React Native, Flutter is the one who placed itself in the top among all other cross-platform applications. And not only so, Flutter as uses the language Dart, which is also the language from Google itself. That's why it's a popular one as of my choice. And hence this training, this workshop is planned on none other than Flutter. So now is the time to introduce with you people about Flutter. Flutter is none other than hybrid application across platform applications, which is dominating the current mobile application development forum, and not only mobile application development forum, as a whole, entire development forum by its definitions, because Flutter itself is a complete package. Itself is a complete SDK, a software development kit, which contains not only the libraries that will help us to develop an application, but also it contains all the frameworks, the widgets, and the tools that will help a Flutter, that will help a software to develop and to execute across the forum independently. That is the USB of a Flutter, that it can execute. It can be executed in any domain across the world, and currently it is supporting Android, iOS, Fuchsia, web, and even for the desktop applications also. So over here, we are finding that Flutter is dominating across the entire computing world with this one code-based language and one programming language, that is none other than Dart. So this is all about Flutter. Definitely Flutter is also having a disadvantage, but that are less in number. What are the disadvantages of Flutter? Then definitely will be pointing out by you people when I'll be running out the code. But before coming to upcoming slide, I'll just like to have some query from you people. If anyone have any sort of query, please put it out in the chat box before moving to the next part of this particular session. Any questions?
Students have, if you have any question, please feel free to ask the speaker, ma'am. Then it would be helpful, or it would be easier for her also to conduct the session. So please, if you have some questions. So ma'am, I think you can start, and as they, get to know the subject a little bit more, then I think we can get some insight from the students also.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. So let's move to the next slide, that is all about the installation part. Among you people, maybe many of you have already learned Flutter or have an keen interest on Flutter. If you have a keen interest on Flutter, please feel free to visit the installation steps on Flutter and also the Flutter documentation, that is flutter.dev/docs. It is the entire documentation that you will get over there. The entire documentation will help you from the starting mode, that is the installation part, as well as how you can progress in learning Flutter. So if you are interested to install Flutter and its relevant software in your system, please visit this mentioned link to install Flutter related software in your system. Now, the next thing that is Flutter offering us, that is the developers, the programmer, is nothing but a visit. As I mentioned, Flutter is a complete SDK, a software development kit, A to Z, everything that requires for developing a software. That is from the initial steps of developing the software, presenting the software, integrating the software, testing and maintaining the software. Each and everything is within a single SDK. That is the Flutter SDK. And hence, this Flutter SDK is complete with a fully completed with the smallest component, and each and every component which is a part of a Flutter is nothing but a visit. So an image, icon, or the fills or the decorations, whatever the graphics, the animation that we put in a screen to design our screen, to represent our screen, everything can be termed as a visit. So visit is all about Flutter. Flutter is nothing without its visit. So if we are finding, if we are validating any field, if we are carrying out a testing, that is a part of visit. If we are arranging our views, our layout, our visibility in any of the orientation, that is a part of our visit. So each and every smallest to biggest, visible, non-visible, each and everything is stamped nothing but a visit in Flutter. So as a whole, I can say that Flutter is made of a visit that helps a programmer to develop the application as well as to execute the application. The most important thing about the Flutter visit is that the visit is written in such a language that is nothing but a Dart. So the only language used over here is the Dart programming language, which is known as client optimized and object oriented programming language. So Dart is the only language which is being used for developing the software, as well as the libraries present, the tools, framework present within this Flutter SDK is written with the help of only Dart language. So over here, this is all about the visit, and hence in our application, the illustrations that I'll provide you for the Flutter, that will also contains the complete visit. And one more thing which I forgot to mention, that if we want to create something of our own, that is any customize or any of our choice, any kind of view or non-visible thing that will like to introduce in Flutter application, which will be part of our application of our development, then that particular thing will also be termed as a visit. So visit is not only the inbuilt one that is provided by the Flutter SDK, but also the one which the user, the programmer, the developer build. That is also nothing but a visit. So the top famous companies are using nowadays only one hybrid application framework, that is none other than Flutter. So if you'll find Dream11, Google Ads, Assistant, Google Assistant, New York Times, Alibaba, all the trending apps are built with the help of this one and only hybrid application, that is Flutter. That is why it is equally executing or running in all across the platforms, either web or iOS or Android. In all across the platform, you will find currently one and only application which is being used is Flutter. So if you are interested to visit the gallery where you will find what are the different other apps which are developed using Flutter, you can find it out in the showcase that is presented by the developer of Flutter. So Flutter developer, whatever application, the famous applications are there in the market, will find all those applications, all those information related to those applications under this particular web link. So this is the web link which help you to visit across the gallery of application that is being developed using one and only hybrid application domain, that is Flutter. So now let me introduce you with the code that I'm going to discuss with you. That is nothing but the forum. So first of all, for you people, let me show you both the thing parallelly. So I hope every one of you could find out the thing that is the Flutter app which I'm going to present you today, that is running on a web as well as running on a real device. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. Is it visible? Both the screen of my mobile phone as well as the Google.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay.
It's
so
visible,
as I
ma'am.
can find, okay, thank you. So as every one of you can find out that these are the same thing which I'm currently running on web as well as in my mobile phone. And over here, we can slide across different images as well as text, which is basically for us known as a carousel. So carousel over here, we can find the same thing presented over here in the mobile also. The same images, the same applications which is running in the web, the same application running parallelly in the mobile phone. That is what all about Flutter. Flutter is not restricted nowadays to mobile apps only, but also it's equally popular among the web apps. Now let's show you how we can write the code for the applications. Already I have written the code for you, which currently I'm showing you over here running in the web as well as running in my mobile phone. So what is the code, how to write all those code, all those things, definitely I'm going to share with you, I'm going to explain you. But I hope everyone can find that there is a clickable options presented over here, which basically known as a button. So it's a clickable, it's also a clickable one. So both the thing are clickable at the same time, as you can see. And if I go through the app simultaneously, I'm finding the same thing across both the platform. So with a small example, small code, I'm going to show you how with this current application, how we can navigate to a new screen. Currently, I don't have any new screen. I'm going to develop a code that will help us to move to a new screen on clicking on this button, over this button in both, and that will be effective in both the platforms. So without wasting any more time, let's check it out how we are going to do so. For that, I need a file. Basically, let's create a file. So over here, you can find I have already 2 files, and as I mentioned, that is the only programming language that we use in case of Flutter development. So I have 2 files. One is main.dat file, where the main method is existing, and the body of that file where I have written the design where I've done the logical reasoning, the business logic I've mentioned over here. So now let's create another file which will represent the next screen. So let's the next screen be as next underscore screen with an extension that is Dutch. Currently, I'm using VS Code editor to code my to write the code for this Flutter. You can use other editors also, like Android Studio, which is famous for and is known as the official IDE for development of Android applications. So VS Code and Android Studio, these are the popular IDEs that help us with the development of Flutter. So now over here in this Dart file, I'm going to create a class. As I mentioned, that is a object-oriented programming language. So definitely without a class, we cannot define any object. So here I need to declare a class. So let's declare a class. Name, let be next screen. Now, since it's a class and I want this class to be pretended as a visit. So that's why need to extend a visit known as stateless visit. Now, many of you can ask me, what is the stateless visit? What's the need of the stateless visit? This stateless visit is a parent class. The parent class that help us to design a visit, which will be an immutable one. Now, what's an immutable one and a mutable one? That I'm going to discuss, but later on, but not now. So I'm adding a package that is Cupertino.dart as well as material.dart. Cupertino is the designing tool that help us to develop iOS application. And material is the design tool, is the designing library that is popular among the Android developers. So both the tools I am adding in this file. And over here, definitely I'm going to add one more thing, that is the build method. So when we generally, if you have a prior knowledge on object-oriented programming language, definitely then you know that when we extend some class, we might require to override some methods. Here in this case also, we need to override some method. And since a stateless visit is an abstract class, so we need to declare this particular method, which is known as a build method. Help us to create up a design to create up a visit. So let's create the visit, return scaffold. Now, again, what's a scaffold? Scaffold is basically another visit which represent the layout of the screen or the body of the screen. And that body might have an app bar. That is, if I refer to this particular thing, so this is basically an app bar in case of mobile. Currently, over the screen, we don't have an app bar, but if we find out some other screen like the WhatsApp and so, we find an app bar over there. So I want to create up an app bar. So I'm using a inbuilt visit, that is app bar, to give a title to this page, to screen, with the help of a text. So let's the text be a welcome or maybe new screen. I want the text to appear in the center. So center title I'm placing to be true. Next, after applying an app bar to my screen, I want to add one more thing, that is the body, which will contains all the user interface elements, that is again termed as visit in case of Flutter. So for introducing with user interface elements, first of all, I need a parameter which is known as a body parameter. Now in this body parameter, I'm going to return a visit, which is basically, let's be a list field, which can adapt a children, a multiple children, better to say. And in this multiple children, let me add an image, which already there in this folder, that is this image folder have a image. So let's give that image name, use that image name over here as images/banner.jpeg. The name the name I've written over here, the way it's been written over here, the same way I'm mentioning here too. And this visit, I want to decorate it within a predefined area. So to define within a predefined area, we should provide a width and a height to this image. So for that, I'm providing a width and a height. So let the width to be entire screen, the entire available position of the screen. So for that, let me use double.infinity. By default, Dart understand only one decimal character, that is floating point data type, that is double. We don't have float data type over here. We have only one data type, that is double. So double.infinity I'm using, which will be a unit that will define all the available space across the region. And of course, for the height, let me use 300, not more than that. And nothing else. And I want this image to be fit across this entire region. So I'm using box fit dot fit fill unit to cover up the entire thing. For proper formatting, I'm using a right click and a formatting one. So let's save it and let's check it out whether this gets rendered or not. If I show you, it's not getting rendered, and definitely it will not get rendered until and unless I will write the code that will help me to navigate to the screen via this button. So let's see where this button has been designed. This button has been designed over here. In Flutter, this sort of button, we call it as an elevated button. It's been defined in a form of a class known as an elevated button. Elevated button is fed up by a argument that is on press, which requires an anonymous method, anonymous non-parameterized method. So over here, I want to place the code that will help me to navigate code to route to next screen. So how to, for that, for navigation to a next screen, we require a navigator visit over here. Navigator visit have different properties, different functionalities. Among those, one of the functionality is push. Push is that particular function which helps us to navigate to a new screen, but keeping this current screen as if in a stack. So we are something navigated as something like a stack. We have in that stack, we have a screen, and above of the stack, that is on the top of the stack, we want to push another screen. Which screen? The screen that we are going to route. So for routing to that particular screen, we required a different visit element, which is none other than material page route. So this material page route will allow us to move to the next screen. Now, here, what's the screen name was that? This is the screen name. And here I'm getting an error. The reason is very obvious because I'm using this particular class over here in this dart file, but these two are separate dart files, and one will not be aware of the other dart file until and unless we prescribe it. So for that, we need to have an import statement where I will like to import the dart file, that is next screen.dart. So next screen.dart is the file that I need to use over here. And as soon as I import this particular statement, you can find it over here. No more error is showing. So let's align this code via the format document features available in VS Code. Now I'm saving the file. As soon as I save this file, you can find out over here, in case of over here, nothing is happening. The reason, I have not reloaded the thing. So let's put the thing side by side so that you can make out the effect and can find out how the hot reloading or hot starting, that is restarting of application, taking place with a new effect. So as of now, I've shown the pictures is being going on, the image is getting slided with the name over here. And now previously when I was clicking on the continue button, nothing was happening. But let's click on continue now. What's happened? Oh yes, we came across the banner of our today's session, that is we are currently going on. So the workshop banner I have used over here. Actually, let me show you so that you can understand. This was the banner I've used, and the same banner is being displayed over here. Let's see it's the same thing is taking place in the mobile phone or not. This is my mobile screen. So the sliding is going on. Now, if I click on continue over this mobile phone, yes, over here also I can see the banner. So this is what an app bar. This is what the body. And if I click on back option, I can come back like a stack. If I click on back like a stack, it is getting back to the previous one. That is the pop operation is taking place over here currently. Again, if I click on continue, a push operation is taken care of. Now let's add up something more over here. Like let's give a proper spacing because it's taking the entire screen and it's not looking so good. So for that, what we can add a padding over here. So constant edge inset only from all the sides. I want a padding of 20. So let's save it. Oh, sorry, not only. It will be from all side 20. Let's save it and let's just check. Let's check the effect in the mobile phone. Yes, a space is there now. So is the effect is taking place in the web? Let's restart again. So you can find out actually parallelly, I am executing the same app in the different platform. One is web and another one is on mobile phone on Android device. So yes, the space has been appeared. So now if I want to add some more data over here, like a text maybe. So if I want to add up a text now, how can you do so? Simple, it's a text visit with whatever text you want to write, like thank you for watching the webinar. Let's have a text like this. So if I save it now, you can find the effect directly on the phone, and with the hot reloading, the same effect will be visible over the web also. So in this way, we can make the things parallelly available to both the platforms. Now, going into much more details or means showing you much more things before that, I will like to definitely get some questions from you people, so that I can show the things according to your need, according to your understanding. So please, your questions. Any questions from your end?
Students, if you have any question regarding this new technology, please feel free to ask, ma'am. You can unmute yourself as you can ask your question.
Okay, one of the questions I'm finding in the chat box, that is, what is the language used over here? The language is Dart. That is the only language which is used for designing the app, for writing up the business logic. Each and everything is been written up in Dart. All the things, all the tools, library present in the Flutter SDK is written only one language, that is Dart. And we, the developers, the programmer, uses that particular language, that is Dart. No other language is been used over here.
Any other question from the student side? See, ma'am is here, and you can really, if you have any query to have a better understanding, you can ask ma'am and she will answer you and solve the query. So please ask questions.
Okay, so there is a question, what are the benefits of Flutter over MERN or React Native? See, MERN is the one which is basically be used for web apps, to develop the web apps, and React Native is the one which we use for developing the mobile application. Hybrid mobile application, that is either for OS, for iOS or for Android. So if I talk about the benefits, see, first benefit is that the documentation. For a learner, we essentially refer to the documentation, to the to develop the things we require, the system setups and all those things. The documentation of the React is, it's not so much in a well formatted manner as compared to that of Flutter. Yes, definitely there are many external libraries present in case of React Native as well as in case of MERN, which help us to develop much more interactive application. But most of the applications give you, in case of, especially in case of mobile application, will give you an impact like a progressive app, not like a real app. And in case of React Native, from a testing module to a compilation module, if I talk about, then the compilation of React Native usually takes place. It compiles the code directly into its common application. Then it converts it's either for Android or for iOS. Whereas, and then the analysis and all those things goes on. But in case of Flutter, the Flutter compile uses the Dart compiler, and it compiles the code directly to the native one. So it doesn't require any bridge between the native platform and the Flutter platform to compiling the code, whereas and hence for execution. Whereas in case of React Native, in case of MERN, if we are interested to develop the mobile applications, then it requires a middleware, a bridge, a API, which in turn converts the code into that platform independent manner, and then from that platform independent manner, it converts it to the native one, either for iOS or for Android. And as I mentioned, in case of React Native, the analysis has been done later on. You cannot find out the error beforehand. After rendering the thing into your mobile phone, then you figure out the errors. And sometimes the errors are not popular or not exactly mentioned. Whereas in case of Flutter, if I talk about, then you will find that while applying the hot reload or something, every time it analyzes the app. First of all, it analyzes this app beforehand, and then it renders into the device for which we are trying to develop the app. And over here, I would like to show you parallelly two things are running on, that is for web as well as for the Flutter. Both the platforms are running parallelly. Both the debuggings are running parallelly over here. This is for the mobile phone, and here in the terminal I'm running for the Chrome, but which is not found in case of MERN or in case of React Native. React Native basically helps us for the development of the mobile application, whereas MERN for the web apps. And if you want to turn that web app into a mobile one, then you need the help of the React Native. That's the most common benefits which I personally found, and many of the developers will find these benefits over MERN or that of React Native. Am I clear? Achha, which one is better for Flutter development, VS Code or Android Studio? Both are equally popular for developing Flutter application, means application based on Flutter, VS Code and Android Studio. But over here, I used to get these questions in maximum of the webinars, maybe from student side, maybe from the professional one. I will like to clarify one thing. If you have a machine that is running short of memory or something, then I will always suggest you to, for writing up your code, for developing your code, use VS Code over Android Studio. That will consume less memory for writing up the code and then to execute it. But definitely Android Studio installation is a must in case of Flutter development.
Any other questions, students? So I think there is no further question from the students' end. Ma'am, can we can you give the slides that I can share with the students? You can give it to Rajmohan sir also, if it is possible.
Yeah,
Then we
of
can
course,
share
of
the
course.
slides.
I'll provide it to sir, to Rajmohan sir, and
Yeah.
then sir will provide to you people.
Yeah. For the students, actually, there is a feedback form that you need to fill up. Rajmohan sir will share the feedback form with you people. And you fill up the feedback form and you will get your certificates after you fill up the feedback form. Rajmohan sir, are you?
Students, I'm
Yeah.
sharing the feedback link with you. I'll request all the particular students to fill up the feedback form. Pallavi ma'am, are you finished with your presentation, ma'am?
Yeah. I'm stopping sharing. Can you stop
No.
it?
No, Pallavi, like, is it over for the day now, or you would like to continue for some more time, show them some more things?
Yeah, if they want something, means from their end, if something they want to ask, then accordingly I can show the things. Otherwise, I'm done with it.
Okay, so students, very good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Do you have more questions to ask to ma'am? Something you would like to see?
Students, I have shared the feedback link with you.
All of you who have attended the session, please fill in the feedback forms as soon as possible and send it back. I just want to I just want to say the session, what I liked about the session, that it was within a short time, Pallavi ma'am has given such a huge insight, and she has done some hands-on job, so that it is becomes much more lucid for the students to understand. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. And we are really the students are students, and we as a department computer science, we are very thankful to you that you have presented such a wonderful upcoming trend with our students. So we hope to collaborate more with Ardent and come up with more such webinars for the students. And for the students also, like if you have any
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, actually, this was a very wonderful session that you have conducted. And from the student side also, if you have any you want to know some about any upcoming trend or technology that you want us to arrange a webinar on, you can also come up to us and tell us that you can find, then we can collaborate with Arden furthermore, and we can conduct such more sessions in the future also. So over to Rajmohan sir. So we can, I think we can close the session today.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ardent, and thank you, ma'am, once again. Thank you, students, also for participating in today's webinar. And as I said, that these kind of upcoming trends and technologies, we have some boundaries in our syllabus. When we have some, those are predefined syllabus, and we cannot go beyond that. So to make you more inclusive with the industry, we try to arrange this kind of webinars and hands-on sessions so that it is beneficial for you students. So so it's a really very nice opportunity. So you grab those opportunities, participate in these seminars, in these webinars, so that you can have a better knowledge about what is going around. So like when you are facing an interview, that makes you this kind of knowledge is, even if you know a little bit about the upcoming trends and upcoming terms, and you just have a little insight about what is going around, you will understand that your resume will be different from the rest of the pool. So to make your resume different, please enroll into such sessions. You come up to us if you have any suggestion. Okay, like this technology we want to get information about, you can come up to us, and we can further collaborate with Ardent and conduct few more sessions in the future also. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rajmohan sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
yeah, the students are asking for the feedback link.
Yeah, I'll share, ma'am. There's a question, Pallavi ma'am, in the chat window. So if you could take up that.
Students, I have shared the feedback link in the chat box. Please, if you could see the chat box.
Okay, I'm sharing it once again. Let me summarize it. First of all, I would like to express my heartiest thank to Ananya ma'am and Fultuli ma'am for creating this opportunity to present today's webinar. As always, we are happy and proud to work with the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, BPPIMT. I also would like to extend my thank to Pallavi ma'am, who gave such an amazing webinar. And to be very honest, I call these kind of webinars as mini workshops. Technically, a session that is packed with theoretical concepts and practical knowledge that makes this kind of webinar so interesting. Students, feedback, just a moment. Okay, I'm just pasting one more link. Check it now. I just like wrongly pasted the link. All of you check. I'm just pasting it to everyone in the chat window. All of you just check this last message that I'm sending right now, and let me know whether it is working or not. Okay, let me continue. I also would like to express my thank to my colleagues, Director of Ardent, Mr. Indranil Sarkar, our branch manager, Mr. Rajesh Mitro, who actually coordinated with everyone to make this today's webinar a successful one. So students, as Pallavi ma'am said to all of you, that Flutter is one of the most relevant and important technologies in today's scenario. And to be very honest, if you want to be a part of this industry, if you really want to make your mark, I say it in a different way. It's just not being the part of the industry, it is about making a mark in the industry. Then definitely you have to go beyond the boundaries of the curriculum and learn technologies that are relevant in the modern industry. And as Fultuli ma'am rightly said, attending more sessions like this ultimately will help you to understand what's required today. And especially if you think from a practical perspective, implementing what you're learning in your systems and installing that in the production level on your devices will give you that confidence to present yourself in front of the industry. We wish to conduct more such sessions in the near future, and we will be happier if we get requests from your side for areas and topics that you wish to attend. So with
Thank you,
this,
Rajmohan sir.
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
actually bringing this up. Actually, it would be very easier and also very fruitful for the students if the request come from the students itself, so that we can cater to their needs actually.
And students, one more simple message from my side. Whenever any such interaction happens, feel free to communicate. Feel free to unmute, feel free to talk, feel free to write. The more and more we interact, ultimately more and more we share knowledge. So with this note, again extending my thanks to the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Fultuli ma'am, Ananya ma'am, and all the other respected teachers, and definitely my dear students. I was so worried in the afternoon, in the morning. I was just thinking that because of the storm, cyclone, whether the students would attend the webinar or not, what is going to be the attendance. But I'm so happy to see the enthusiasm. We have 47 participants here, and most of you, those who registered, are doing this, rather you're part of this webinar today. Thank you so much. You people will be receiving the certificates by tomorrow. We will be sending you an email mentioning the process, how you're going to download the certificate. So by tomorrow, the mail should reach your inbox. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, students. So we can sign off for today. Thank you for attending the session.
So I'm closing the meeting for today.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.